Okay, so today I want to talk to you about how to know what is real. Now, I want to make a difference between what is and real and fake, or highlighting the fact that it's not it's not actually about things being real or fake. Because the truth is there are there are so many different perspectives to be had in this world. Everybody has their own world within this world. There are no two people who believe and think exactly the same things because we're all having our own unique experience. So when I say how to know what is real, I'm more so addressing that that mentality of how do I know if this is true for me, right? Okay, so that's really what I'm getting at is how do I know what is true? And then it's what is true for me, what is my truth? Because we all have this ability to create our realities. We're doing it all the time. So in today's world, as we look out to what other people are experiencing, it feels very, very crazy. It feels very chaotic. It's it's hard for people to know who to trust. It's hard for people to not give blame and to judge others for what their perception of reality is. And I think when just starting out, I completely get that because you think everything is real. You think that this world is very real and you think it's permanent, but it actually isn't. And so when watching the news and seeing information come to you, whether it's science, studies, accusations, different positions and decisions that certain people are making, and even historical information. Now, my intention with these videos is, especially this one, is it's it's not to induce fear. For me, I'm coming from a place of I see a lot of fear and I see a lot of control and manipulation, and I I don't think that everybody does. So I'm sharing my perspective. For me, I think that it's really important to become of all of this fear and duality, this separation and division that's being that's being strategically played out in today's world in all of a whole bunch of countries throughout the world, right? This isn't just like one country. The country that you live in, that is your world, but other people are experiencing this in their own as well. On this channel, I'm going to be sharing a lot of information that is it's very non-status quo, meaning what I'm talking about, any of like the large information organizations, they're not talking about what I'm talking about. In fact, in my perception, they don't really want what I'm talking about to be the focus. Because what I'm talking about is giving us as the people, as the humans on the planet, our power back, to have us realize what's going on here, and to empower you with what you can do about it. And you can do lots about it. You can do everything about it. You can completely change it. And so you have the responsibility here in this lifetime for discerning your own truth, for figuring out what is real, what is true for you. Because every day, as you're either pursuing information or information's coming at you, no matter what it is, you have to use your discernment to know what's true for you. Otherwise, if you always take at face value and you always believe what is coming to you, you are going to be so easily manipulated. And that's where most people are. That's how they're living their life. They have their outlets, they have their information sources and their preferences for where that's coming from. And they get very used to, okay, yes, I believe this. Yes, I believe this. Yes, I believe this. So therefore, I should continue to believe everything that's coming from this place. And maybe you don't do this. But what I'm saying is these sources, these trustworthy, fact-checked sources of information, like they're no different than any just random person on the street. And people are receiving this information all the time. And that's why it's so important, because you always just have to be thinking, is this true? And I'm going to be talking a little bit more so about how to do this. So the first thing that I have is just in general, it's starting to shift the perspective, right? Thinking, okay, here's what Peter's saying. He's saying things are not as they seem. I need to shift my perspective and keep an open mind. Not such a bad thing, in my opinion. So what I'm saying, first and foremost, is to make that step back from the narratives, right? What are the major narratives in your world right now? And just kind of like starting to kind of compartmentalize them, just set them in front of you mentally and just think, okay, this is what's upsetting me, or this is what's upsetting other people, and start to just kind of work back from it. Because a lot of times there's agenda and emotion kind of baked into this information. So it's very triggering, right? People are extremely triggered in today's world. And this is why. And I think that it does such a good job. It does amazingly well at pitting people against each other, right? This happens if you just look at like your family. A lot of times our families have kind of like the spectrum on all kinds of different topics, all kinds of different issues of the day. And it's because we all share different perspectives, but we're all getting our information from different places as well. And the bigger picture in my perception is that this is part of the plan, is because if we were all united, we're so incredibly strong. But and we can kind of transcend all of this power, fear, control over us. If we were all united, it would happen instantly. So that's why we need to be kept separate. We need to be kept confused and conflicted and lost. We need to be questioning, who are we? Who are other people? There's a lot of like this fear over like fake news. And what I'm saying is like fake news has been happening for our entire lives. Some of this stuff is just completely made up. So shifting your perspective, taking a step back. So this next one that I have is using your intuition. If you use your intuition, if you are tapped in with your intuition and you always trust that, it's your gut feeling. It's a feeling. It is. It's not what your mind is saying. You can just sense it. You can just sense what's true. You will always know what is true. And it's what is true for you, what is in your best and highest good for this lifetime. Because as I said at the beginning of this video, people are so convinced that what's happening is it is so real, and they feel like they're a victim, and they're angry at their perpetrators, and they're angry at the people in power. And it's so perfect. Anger is extremely toxic. And it's also very influential. When you see somebody very angry, you're either going to join them or you're going to be immediate opposition to them. Me, I'm in a third category because I don't act like most people do in today's world. I'm not reactionary. I'm always using my intuition. So what I want to say about intuition is that you can trust yourself. You are very capable of trusting yourself. I believe that you should trust yourself if you want to have more control over your sense of reality. If you want to be the creator of your world rather than just accepting what is given to you. So you have this ability. Of course you have this ability. You've always had this ability. A lot of times, the way I like to think about it is we come into this world and we're young children, and kids have access. They have great access to their intuition until they learn to turn it off, until they learn to follow the social cues and the programming that they're conditioned with as they grow up. Again, it's nobody's fault. This is Earth. It's hard times. That's why we came here. We're advanced souls. We like a challenge, apparently. So, intuition. Another thing that I like to do is look and see what's going on and have that sense of open-mindedness and look for the sincerity of the information. So you've got your intuition, but now you can be kind of curious as to, okay, what could be going on here, and starting to question it, because questioning is a very healthy thing. Questioning is not the same as doubt, because you don't have doubt when you can trust yourself and you're using your intuition. But it is very healthy to question what is being told to you and why is it being told to you. What is the agenda there, and this kind of gets into the conspiracy part of it. And for me, I have never been one for, wanting to be like into these different conspiracy theories. But it's pretty amazing. The more that I've stepped back, the more questions that I ask, the more clarity that I receive. So with your intuition and you're trusting yourself and then you're asking the questions, all of a sudden you start to see things clear, and you can sense that this feels very true. And it's again it's true for you, right? Because you are making your own sense of truth, of wisdom, right? You're not just accepting knowledge and information and taking it at face value. You're integrating this into your own experience, and you're using your discernment to figure out what is true. So a lot of information today is created using AI. And a lot of people don't like that because they can't tell if it's a person or if it's AI. Let's go back to what I was just saying. If you get the feeling that it is AI, it probably is, right? And sometimes it can be AI and then it can be kind of, you know, reworked a little bit by a human before posting, sharing, or just putting out. And if you get the sense that it's AI, it probably is. Now, AI, the for me, the giveaway with AI is can't relate to being human. It can only learn from the input that humans are giving it and feeding it, and it's creating its models. And so there is no sense of emotion. It can't tell original human stories. It could only kind of regurgitate what it already knows or what it's learned. And so emotion is the thing that connects us, and that is what is beyond AI. So AI doesn't have that. It's just it's it's computer. It's just computer generated. Now, speaking of emotion, one thing that I want to throw in here is to encourage you to become aware of your emotions, because our emotions make us have a more heightened experience, right? Everything just feels more intense when you have emotion with it. It's because we can feel that. So when people are having their life experience and they're really going through it and they're angry or they're upset and they're sharing and showing up in the world from that place, it can be very convincing because we can feel that, especially as an empath. You can feel that emotion. And what I'm saying is, just because there's emotion doesn't mean it's real, right? If there's emotion involved, that should actually mean you should question it. And it's not that emotions are bad. Emotions are part of this experience with physical reality. But emotions can be very convincing and persuasive if you're not used to stepping back and questioning it. So feeling your emotions is always a good thing. You want to feel them because if you don't, they'll be there for you later on. But you don't need to hang on to them. You don't need to give emotion meaning, right? So with emotion, emotion exists within what some consider the fourth dimension or the astral plane. And there's certain things that make you more vulnerable to energies in the astral. And I'm going to be doing a video of this in the future just on this topic. But for now, I just want to just put it in here for trying to figure out, okay, what is real, what is not. So being in a low vibrational state, being really upset, really angry, feeling depressed, sad. When you're in this kind of a state, it's also similar to if you were drinking and doing drugs. What happens is your field is now a vibrational match for other energies, other entities, other beings who want to live through your experience. So that's the tricky part with emotion. And that is why I believe we as humans are really provoked and encouraged to have such intense emotion, right? Looking for that reaction, trying to make us just feel so lost in this world and so upset. Because if you can keep us down, we've lost our power. Okay. So when you are in your strongest place, you're at your center and you have calm emotions. This means that you're not easily influenced. And it's because of this astral component. You want to be as strong as you can, and that's physically, mentally, and emotionally. And speaking of emotion, or speaking of mentally, it's the same thing, but it's because it's mental. With your mental body, you don't need to be as concerned with being influenced because while we are telepathic, thoughts and ideas are swirling all the time. And we usually just operate with our minds just out of habit, anyways. And so it's not as easy to be influenced. You don't have to worry so much about people reading your mind and your thoughts and things like that. Because, especially with the topic of this video, where you're trying to figure out what is real in this world. And so with mental thoughts, you're trying to know who you are, right? So with thoughts and emotions, the more that you can know who you are, the more that you can know what is yours, then it's really easy to recognize what is not yours, right? So if you get these like random thoughts and you're like, wow, that's just like really terrible. That's not mine. Well, then it's not. Release that, right? You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. So between these three things, trusting yourself, using your inner guidance and your intuition, and then knowing yourself, your thoughts and emotions, all of this put together is going to help you to know what is your truth in the world. What is the version of reality that you're willing to accept? Because you don't have to buy into what is just available, right? Freely available, just, naturally showing up for you organically and in the algorithm. You, by using these tools, stepping back, trusting yourself, just keeping an open mind. And then also with the tips for the emotions and the thoughts, this is going to allow you to have a better sense of the world that you are here to experience, right? To figure out what is the difference between the facts and the fiction, right? But like I said, people who are really in it and going through experience, that experience is valid for them. But you don't, If you don't want to be a part of that, you don't have to be a part of that. They can have their own unique life experience, right? We all have our own different experience, and that really is that's the point. That's the point of all of this. To me, what feels true is that, as I had said before, we didn't incarnate into this world, into, into Earth, to have such a controlled and manipulated reality. We knew that we were going to be coming in, and we knew that this was taking place. But this is something, as an advanced soul, which we are incarnating at Earth right now, this is something for us to recognize. This is something for us to transcend. You really don't have to do much more than that in this lifetime. But there is always more to do. This to me is it's a very natural, easy place to get started because it gives you an escape from all of the chaos. And you can start to realize that there is the silver lining. There is light, in this tunnel. You can find your way out. But what's amazing is you will still be here on Earth. I'm not talking about waiting until the end of your life, and then you're ascending. I'm not talking about leaving early, right? What I'm saying is you can be here and you can have it be the world that you get really excited about, that you really want to see. And I'm telling you, if you insist on it, that is the world you will see. You won't see any different. For me, a lot of the stuff that I talk about in this video, I'm like pursuing that. I like to see what the rest of the world is doing because I'm in my own world and I'm in my center and I feel very strong and powerful. But when I look around, I just think, oh my gosh, I what can I do for these other people? And this video topic today of them not knowing what is real is that is really important for them. And so that's why I'm here. That's why I'm sharing. Okay. So bringing it back, we can all thrive on Earth. We can be living our best lives. We can be feeling all the feelings, right? Because there's still lots of emotion, right? I'm not saying it goes away. It's still a roller coaster of emotions, and I experience the extremes as well. But the more you know yourself, the more you can recognize what is not yours. So try these tips, trusting yourself, using your inner guidance, knowing what is yours, what is not for emotions and thoughts. I just want to leave you with I know that you are very capable. I know that you are a very strong individual. I think that you can choose to be brave. You can be different. You can kind of be your own change that you wish to see in the world by you changing and improving yourself. You can't help but positively influence other people that are around you. And so I hope that you enjoyed what I talked about today. If so, leave a comment and I'll see you next time.